Bradley's back with another video, and today's video is going to be 5 money mistakes we made in our 20s.
5 mistakes that we made in our 20s when it comes to money. So y'all already know I got to get the formalities out of the way before we get too deep into this video. Don't forget to like this video if you like what them Bradleys be talking about. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell once you subscribe so you can know when we got more videos coming. So let's get into this topic today.
The first money mistake that we made in our 20s was not having a budget. I didn't have a budget through my whole 20s. Like, well, I guess I was with you my entire 20s, except for 1.5 years. But yeah, I didn't have a budget my entire 20s, and for some reason I thought I was rich and making it rain.
Yeah, not having a budget and a plan to stick to really leads you down a path of uncertainty. You will wake up on Tuesday mornings and have no money because you were just out swiping all weekend, not knowing that you don't have as much money in your account as you thought because you didn't, as old school people will say, balance your checkbook.
These days we are pretty vigilant about our checkbook, and we make sure that we know what's going in, we know what's coming out. We are diligently looking at our bills probably every day. We're looking at our bank account every day or every other day and looking at our bills and planning for the next month. That's how we stay ahead. That's how we stay on track.
Yeah, paying yourself first and then paying bills and then knowing what you got after all that stuff comes out is very huge. Again, like I always a big proponent of, communication is really big on this stuff, because if you guys are anything like us, we have a linked bank account, so if you swiping and you don't know the other person swiping, you could lead yourself into a lot of trouble. So being able to communicate with one another and tell the other person what you're buying outside of the budget is very huge on the budget to be successful.
The next money mistake that we made in our 20s was ignoring our debt. I was notorious for this, like notorious for this. I don't know, I just thought if I ignored it, it would eventually go away. That is not the case. If you have debt, do something about your debt. If you can't pay it all in full, contact your creditors, see if they can work out some kind of payment plan, but do not ignore it because it will pile up and eventually bury you.
Yeah, debt is a very huge proponent that people tend to fall into. When you got this credit card, you get these credit cards and you got these limits, and you just can swipe to no swipe-ticity, or that's not a word obviously, but you know what I'm going for. You just swipe and then you look up one day and you had a $5,000 balance and now you got $3,800 that is total credits on there. Now you got that and you got other things, and now you're looking like, oh my God, how am I going to get this debt paid off? And you just think like, oh, I just won't use that card anymore and I'll just pay on it for basically the next 20 years, basically, because sadly $3,800 at a 21% interest rate or whatever, some crazy interest rate, it takes some time to pay it off. So you can't just act like that isn't there. You have to have a real plan of action to get that money paid off, because they just gonna cash in on you if you allow it to continue to rack up.
So 3 and 4 kind of go hand in hand. Number 3 is not having an emergency savings. We had probably no money in the bank for most of our 20s. It's just we were living paycheck to paycheck, and like most people, we were living paycheck to paycheck, didn't have any savings. So when something happened, we would move to number 4, which was dipping into our retirement fund.
I would say in the severity of like you said, like major life events, I lost my job and we had to obviously still pay bills regardless of the fact that I didn't have a job. So which caused me to have to dip into my savings account. I'm not proud of, not savings account, I'm sorry, retirement account. I'm not proud of that, but it was something that we had to do. And a lot of Americans do that. You just get to the point where it's something that bills need to be paid. I can't think about being 60 right now, because right now I'm 20 and my rent is due. So yeah, you unfortunately dip, and then once you dip, I don't know if a lot of people know this, they tell you this when Uncle Sam come and look for his money, but you have to pay a large tax dividend for borrowing that, taking that money out. Yes, it's that money that you are putting into your retirement fund, they aren't taxing. So when you go to take it out, Uncle Sam wants his cut and you have to pay that. So now, not only did you just take all that money out your account, but now you got to pay taxes on that money also.
So these days, I think you guys know, we've talked about it so many times, we are really diligent about saving money. We're just very diligent about that. That's something that we honestly strive to do. We strive to increase how much we save money all the time. And our retirement accounts, we do not touch. Those are off limits. That's why we have the savings account. So if something does happen, if something goes wrong, someone loses their job, we will still have money to survive.
The point of this video is, like I said, mistakes that you make in your 20s, you don't want to be making in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s. You want to be able to get to a point where you have a plan of action and a plan of recourse, what you want to do once you get to your 30s. Get all those mistakes out your way when you're in your 20s. The last topic here is not being honest about your financial history or present. You have to communicate those things. You have to be honest with where you are and what you're dealing with as far as finances go. And
to be quite honest, this is for a single person and someone in a relationship, because you need to be honest with whoever you're in. I don't want to say a relationship, but if you're married, you need to be honest with whoever you're married to about your financial history, where you are, your debts, your habits, your financial habits. You need to be very honest. And then if you don't have a spouse, you need to be honest with yourself. I find that a lot of people are not, including myself, because I definitely was not in my 20s. A lot of people don't have a grasp on how much maybe of a spending problem that they have, or maybe just why they spend and when they spend. So if they're bored, they spend. Maybe if they're feeling bad, if they're at a really low point, they spend money. So a lot of people just don't have a grasp on that. And until you get honest with yourself and understand yourself and why you're doing these things, then you'll never improve.
Yeah, you have to embrace, like she said, embrace yourself. These are mistakes that in your 20s you can make. In your 40s, that could be crucial. So you want to get these mistakes out of the way when you're in your 20s. Last thing you want to do is be making 20-year-old mistakes when you're in your 40s, which turn to you still needing to be working when you're 70. You need to have a plan and embrace it. And like she said, know yourself and know, like, to be able to confront yourself and be like, hey, why am I doing this? I need to change this and move on from it. Because if you don't, you are setting yourself up for failure.
But that is it. That's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and it was helpful for you. I hope you take some of this. If you're in your 20s now and you see yourself making some of these mistakes, start to get on the path to freeing yourself from these bad habits.
I'll always say I wish I would have had somebody to tell me, don't rack up that credit card. Pay yourself. You don't need those shoes. You don't need that shirt. You don't need to go to Red Lobster. You really don't need that Chick-fil-A. Like, if every time you look at yourself and think, do I really need this, and ask yourself that twice, and the answer is no, then more likely you shouldn't do it. That's going to end this video here. If you guys want to see more stuff that's coming from us in the future, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell. And if you like what we dropping, go ahead and pick it up and hit that like button for us. And until the next video, it's them Bradleys checking out. Peace.